Hey, what's up, nerds, geeks, and collectors alike? Today we are taking a look at the Transformers Buzzworthy Studio Series number 102 Voyager class Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. And I know many of you are excited for this figure, myself included. Now let's not waste any more time and let's get into it. And taking a look at the head alone, as you can see the amount of love that went into the sculpt. The head alone is very nicely detailed and very faithful to Rise of the Beast. And as you can see, his eyes carry that navy baby blue that started with the premiere edition Last Night Optimus Prime. The Autobot symbols on his shoulder are printed nicely, and his paint applications are very crisp. And here we have more sculpted details, and here we have the legs. Here we have a side profile of Optimus Prime, and let's take a look at the back. As you can see, it is similar with the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, and the feet are very clean as well. And you really see the amount of love that went into production for this figure. There is basically no kibble whatsoever except for the ones that are supposed to be there. For accessories, Optimus Prime has one sword and one blaster. Starting off with the sword, it is very nicely sculpted and weirdly painted. As you can see, it is cast in this blue plastic and then painted with gunmetal, when they should have just cast this in either orange or gray plastic. And with the blaster, it is just a simple blaster cast on this gray piece of plastic, but it is sculpted nicely. And in order to mount the weapons, there are two ways for the sword. One is this configuration, as you can see right there, which is less favorable. I prefer this configuration, which is more accurate. And for the blaster, what you want to do is open this flap and then flip the hand, as you can see right here, and that can be done with the other hand as well, but you only come with one blaster. Now for articulation, Prime's head is on a ball joint, therefore you have a lot of movement. His head can look up that far and look down that far, and then it can do a complete 360, and of course back, as you can see right there. His shoulders, however, do not carry over the one with the Bumblebee. This is a completely new configuration. What you can do is a 360, and then you can move his shoulders up, but that does look weird if you put it all the way. So yeah, he does not have the same shoulder configuration as the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. He has a bicep swivel right there, and of course he has a double jointed elbow, which is a first for an Optimus Prime figure, or at least first for me. And his hands can do a 360 and can move a little bit from side to side. And then he does have another range of motion that most Optimus Prime figures don't have, which is a ab crunch. That is very refreshing to see on a Transformers figure. He has a waist swivel, and what you want to do is move these flaps. His feet can kick that far up and then can move barely at all. Actually, it's nothing. He cannot move it back at all, and he can do the splits quite well-ish. And he has a upper thigh swivel, and as you can see right there, it is not a hollow piece, which Hasbro would usually just leave, but this time they filled it up. And for the knees, he can do a 90-degree bend at the knee, maybe just a little more. And his feet has this new system which gives him so much more range of motion with his feet, and I like this a lot. So that pretty much sums it up for his articulation. For size comparisons, let's bring in the Studio Series Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime and Studio Series Bayverse Optimus Prime. And bringing out the measuring tape right here, Bayverse Optimus Prime stands about 6.75 inches high. And moving on to Rise of the Beast, he stands just a little below 7 inches. So that is a minor difference. And with Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime, again, he stands about 6.75, same as the Bayverse. And as you can see right here, Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime is taller than his predecessors, which is kind of ironic because in this new universe, I think Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime is shorter than the Bayverse. So yeah, if you're curious about this scale with the other Optimus Prime figures, there you have it. Now let's move on to the transformation. And here we have Optimus Prime in his flat-nose Freightliner alt mode, which is faithful to his G1 design minus the bull bars, which Rise of the Beast is trying to adapt with this off-road jungle alt mode, but pretty much a pretty cool truck for Optimus Prime. And it's very faithful to the movie, well, except for the feet as well as this gray piece at the top. But in the long standing of Transformers, I would prefer them sacrificing the alt mode for the robot mode and not the other way around, because I prefer to display my figures in robot mode. So yeah, some may complain about the figure compromising for the robot mode, but personally I prefer it that way, because personally I prioritize the robot mode instead of the alt mode. And again, as you can see, Optimus Prime does roll very well on a flat surface. In his alt mode, he is a little below 3 inches tall, and he is about, I think, let me just, he is a little above 2 inches wide, and then 5.5 inches long in his Freightliner alt mode, which is a pretty decent scale for a truck in the Studio Series line. And bringing in Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime right here, as you can see, it is bigger. Well, the Bumblebee movie is bigger in terms of the cab, but apart from that, I think they scale about the same. And bringing in Bayverse Prime right here, and obviously Bayverse Prime is going to be longer because of his Peterbilt truck mode, which has a nose. Allow me to back up just a little bit in order to get the full scale between these guys. Peterbilt is longer, of course, and Bumblebee movie is a lot bigger in terms of the cab. So to summarize my opinion on this figure, it's pretty obvious that it is an upgrade compared to his predecessor, which is the Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime. And a lot of love went into the detailing and engineering of this figure. He has new articulation that we haven't seen with an Optimus Prime figure before. We have a double jointed elbow as well as the ab crunch, and not to mention the small side by side of the hands. I'm genuinely surprised that this figure is taller than the other Studio Series, when I expected it to shrink, because that's what's happening with recent toys from Hasbro. They are slowly shrinking. And in my personal opinion, this might be the best Voyager class Optimus Prime that we've ever got in recent years, and he is a faithful figure form representation of what we saw in the movie. This figure definitely surpassed my expectations. So that's about it. Till next time, see ya.